Good morning to all the viewers, officials, principals, teachers, and dear students. Welcome you all to the Senior Intermediate webinar session, Chapter 7, Tertiary Sector, Part 1. I am Ranjita Logishetty, Principal, TSMS, Nedmanur, Nalgonda District. Children, in most of the developing countries where agriculture and industrial sectors dominated the show in generating employment till few years, but this started to change in the present scenario. The tertiary sector or service sector experienced a rapid shift in its favor in generating both income as well as employment. Service sector can transform this burden of large size of manpower or population into an asset by its proper utilization of by its proper utilization, and thereby it can generate this huge size of income for the nation as a whole. First of all, children, can you all tell me what is the meaning of services in the sense of economics? Services are any function or task performed by an individual or group of individuals for which there is a demand. Hence, a price is determined. If it is available in the recent market, the services are sometimes referred as intangible goods. And this services or this sector covers a wide range of activities like trade, hospitals, educational institutions, restaurants, transportation, communication, finance, institutes, insurance, etc. Therefore, let's see each concept in a detailed way by our today's presenter, that is Srimati P. Joshna Rani from PGT Economics from TSMS, Jakkapalli, Narsapur, Medak district. Madam has done her masters in commerce as well as economics. She also did her bachelor's in education. She has a very good teaching experience of 18 years. She worked in previously for many private junior colleges, and from 2013 she is been working in Telangana Model Schools Institute for as PGT Economics. Madam, welcome to this session. Now the session is all yours.
Thank you, Madam Ranjita, Madam. A warm welcome to the principals of Model School, students and viewers. Myself, P. Josna Rani, PGT Economics, working at TSMS Jakkapalli, Narsapur, Medak. Today, I am here to present you a very interesting topic, that is tertiary sector, which is the 7th unit in your textbook, children. So children, just now, Madam has told you some detail, some information. Ranjita Madam has given a brief information regarding our tertiary sector, children. Children, the concepts which we are going to learn in this session are the importance of tertiary sector, growth and performance of service sector, the state and union territory level, performance of India's key subsectors services, and regarding tourism sector and IT BPM services, children. And after the your session, after the discussion part, what are the objectives we are going to achieve? We are going to learn we can understand the meaning and importance of service sector, to classify the performance of key subsectors of services, to differentiate types of tourism, learn about IT BPM, children. Then children, let us have an introduction regarding our tertiary sector, part 1. Children, here our Indian economy consists of 3 major sectors. These are agriculture, industry, and services. Economic transformation of a developing country like India crucially depends on the performance of its agriculture and allied sectors, children. Here, allied sectors are the industrial and tertiary sector. So, children, what is this economic transformation? It refers to the continuous process of moving labor and other resources from lower to higher productivity sectors, which becomes a key driver for economic development. So children, the activities of the tertiary sector help in the development of the primary and secondary sectors. These activities by themselves do not produce a good, but they are an aid or support for the production process. Now children, evolution of human life. Here, all the desires and aspirations and motives of humans are known as human wants in economics. And these wants can be satisfied with goods and services of any kind. Hence, human life evolves through various stages like production of foods, production of tools, distribution of food and tools, along with providing skills. Why all this? Just to satisfy our human wants. So here children, production of food is recognized as agricultural activity, whereas production of tools is recognized as industrial activity. And the distribution of food and tools along with providing skills to satisfy human wants is services. So children, here sectors of Indian economy. Let us recall agriculture and industrial sector which have been discussed in previous sessions children. So here we have key sectors, primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector children. And here when we come to the primary sector, it is associated with agriculture and nature children. Children, in the images, in the figures, you can see how it is associated. The farming, you can see fishing, here mining, and here forestry. They're all associated with the nature. They all falls under primary sector. And children, this agriculture sector contributes to the economy in three ways. One is the product contribution, in which it provides the food grains to the people and raw materials to the industries. And we have factor contribution, that is it transfers labor and capital to industries. And finally, it is a market contributor. That means it supplies its products to both domestic and foreign markets children. And here we'll be discussing about the secondary sector. The secondary sector, it is the industrial sector. Here, industrial sector refers to that sector of economy which is related to manufacturing and production of different products children. So here in the industrial sector, with the help of the goods, with the help of the tools and machines, we are producing the goods children. So here, what way this industrial sector is helpful to us? That is, industrial sector helps in the greater productivity and higher national income, and it is a contributor to increase in per capita income and provide varied employment opportunities also. Not only this, with the help of the industrial sector, diversified goods are also available in the market children. And children, next our session, that is the topic which we are going to discuss in our session, is tertiary sector children. Tertiary sector, it provides services. See children, in the figures you can see the services of transport, the hospitals, you can see the banking, here you can see the insurance, the police station. So here all these departments, all these are providing services, falls under tertiary sector children. Here children, as our country is second populous country in the world, consisting more human resources, so more importance is given to tertiary sector. So tertiary sector is the third major sector in the economy, providing all vital services for the functioning of the economy. And this is the fastest growing sector, and the importance of tertiary sector is rising because of the following reasons children. So let us look into what are the various reasons. The first one is basic services. Here, the sector provides basic services such as hospitals, educational institutions, post and telegraph services, police stations, courts, municipal corporations, defense, banks, insurance, etc. So these are the basic services provided to us. So here, the second important aspect is employment opportunities. So to provide these basic services, more and more people are being employed. Hence, this sector creates a huge area for employment even for uneducated and unskilled workers' children. Then the distribution part. The sector distributes the consumer goods to different suppliers, and we have contribution to GDP. The share of this service sector, tertiary sector, is increasing. It is contributing higher to our gross domestic product. Then children, increase in per capita income. So as availability of employment opportunities are there, okay, as this sector is providing employment opportunities, which increases the per capita income, then children, creation of new services. As per capita income increases, the income level rises and people demand for more services like tourism, shopping centers, banks, etc. And the new services. With modernization and globalization, some new services based on information and communication technology have been created. So these services are contributing a major share to national income and providing employment to the major labor force of a country. So children, let us look into how these services are defined in a traditional setting, that is in our olden days. In olden days, the services providing skills to satisfy human wants by barber, you can see dhobi, you can see carpenter, and children here goldsmith, and you can see the picture of the blacksmiths. So in the traditional setting, in the olden days, only these uh, services are considered as services. But whereas in the modern economy, the services become highly skilled and attractive children. So highly skilled and attractive. Here skilled means having the knowledge, ability or training to perform certain activity children. So in the modern economy, the services of a doctor, Pani Puri seller you can see IT services, then traffic police you can see here, you can see pharmacist and teacher. So here children, these are considered as services in modern economy. Children, you all know that even vocational courses were offered in our model schools and colleges. So here they are also fall under the service sector. So children, with this we can say that the services are contributing a major share to national income and providing employment opportunities to the major portion of labor force children. Now children, let us look into the components of tertiary sector. We will look into the subsectors of our service sector, that is community, social and personal services, trade, hotels, transport and communication. We have finance, insurance and real estate children. So let us look into detail what are aspects covered under each subsector. So children, here the first one, community, social and personal services. So in this we can see the defense, we can see the education, the public administration children. So you all know the defense. Defense is an important service as it strives towards effectiveness and efficiency of the defense forces ensuring that they fulfilling their duty of providing security and defense against external threats in the best possible way. So defense forces include army, navy, air force, military branches. So children, ours is second most populous country in the world, provides jobs as we have lot of human resources in the defense also. So here, children, defense comes under tertiary sector. Then the children, public administration. So who will look after this? So here the implementation of government policies and systematic application of law. So here government is responsible for a number of crucial functions. The government is responsible for running schools, colleges, libraries, hospitals, health centers, public institutions, etc. So yet the transportation system, the infrastructure are constructed and maintained by the government. So in providing water, sanitation, electricity facilities, the government has to play an active role. These are all falls under service sector. So here to maintain all these services, many people are required and more employed. So to some extent, problem of unemployment can also be reduced. So children, here we have other aspects also covered in this community, social and personal services. Here we have health, we have library, media, museums, and here veterinary activities. They also comes under community, social and personal services. Children, education also children. So a proper and good education is very important for all of us. It enables us to know our rights and duties towards family, society, as well as the nation. So here, schools, educational institutions are service providers to children. A teacher, administrator, curriculum developer, school counselor, they're all doing services. They're all providing services. When it comes to the health aspect also, so health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, children. When you visit a hospital, you'll be finding many people doing some services like X-ray, we have labs, we have blood services, we have clinical services, specialists, nurses. So they all falls under our service sector, children. And library, you can see, we find a curator there. So here, a librarian, he will is an expert at finding and organizing information, and this librarian is also doing service. Then media is a communication tool, okay, used to deliver or store information or data. We will watch movies, TV shows, music, newspapers, they are all covered under the service sector, this entertainment industry. And broadcasting, journalist, advertisement, so all are doing services. And children, the veterinary activities also, we are veterinary activities where animal doctors monitoring the health of animals are also covered here, children. We have trade, hotels, transport, and communication. Trade is an important segment in India's GDP, children. The GDP from trade may be the inclusive of wholesale and retail in the organized and unorganized sectors. The share of this trade remained fairly stable at around 15% in the last 4 years. The last decade has witnessed acceleration in the growth rate of real GDP. With the growth in consuming population, the retail business also got a boosting. So children, here you can see even the hotels and restaurants, the major engines of economic growth, children. Tourism plays an important role in the country's foreign exchange earnings, and the hotel sector comprises various forms of accommodation, namely star category hotels we find heritage category hotels also. So the share of hotels and restaurant sector in the overall economy is increasing, children. Then children, we have broadcasting, we have transport, children. So here, investment in transport can yield jobs and economic returns also will be getting. It helps in increasing productivity and enhances competitiveness of the economy. There are various modes of transportation, children. This include the roadways, railways, waterways, and airways, children. So here, these transport, it will carry the goods as well as the people and makes our work very easier, children. Then, children, we have finance, insurance, and real estate. Here, banks. Banks play an important role in the financial system in the economy for offering a service for people wishing to save. Banks offers finance to business who wish to invest and expand. These loans and business investments are important for enabling economic growth for a country. And children, the post office. Children, you all know for more than 150 years, the Department of Post has been the backbone of our country's communication and has played a crucial role in the country's socio-economic development. So, children, do you all know what is the primary work of the post office is? So, postal system. It is the delivering of mails, money remittances, and post office bank accounts also, postal life insurance, and even the disbursements of the payments of any schemes introduced by the government, even the pension schemes also. And children, we have insurance. Insurance generates significant impact on the economy by mobilizing domestic savings, and this insurance promotes trade and commerce activities, children. And we have real estate companies also. They also comes under service sector activities. So this real estate includes development of commercial and residential real estates. The GDP from this real estate is also increasing, children. Here, real estate, you know what we will do under real estate. A person who buys and develops houses, lands, buildings in order to sell them and make a profit from them. And children, let us try to understand the importance of tertiary sector. So children, in general, the importance of any sector is estimated on the basis of many elements. So here we are considering the important elements like GDP, share in employment, share in exports, and attracting foreign direct investment. So children, first, let us try to understand the contribution to GVA. So what is this GVA? GVA is a very important measure because it is used to determine gross domestic product. So it is the value of amount of the goods and services that have been produced, less the cost of all inputs and raw materials that are directly attributable to the production. So children, GDP is an indicator of the health of a national economy and economic growth. It represents the monetary value of all products and services produced in the country within a defined period of time. So children, in comparing GVA and GDP, we can say that GVA is a better measure for the economic welfare of the population because it includes all primary incomes. So children, gross value added is the output of the country less the intermediate consumption, which is the difference between gross output and net output. So this GVA is used to adjust GDP, which is a key indicator of the state of a nation's total economy. So the formula to calculate GVA is GDP plus SP minus TP. So children, GDP is gross domestic product. To the gross domestic product, we have to add the subsidies on products and we have to deduct the taxes on products, children. So children, in India, service sector has emerged as the major growth inducing sector. So the tertiary sector is assuming greater importance over the years with an average contribution of about 58% to the GVA. However, the contribution from primary sector and secondary sector is declining. See children, in the table you can see that in the year 2013-14, the share of service sector in GVA is 49.4%, whereas it has increased to 57.8% in 2019 and 20 children. Then children, we will learn about according to the economic survey of India 2019, contribution of major components of service sector in 2019 GVA is as follows children. See children, from trade, hotel, transport, storage, communication and services related to broadcasting, the GVA is 18.1%. Whereas from financial, real estate and professional services, it is 24.5%, and public administration and defense and other services, it is 15.2% children. Then children, we will be learning about contribution to employment. We are learning about the various elements. So it is also a very important element in estimating the importance of tertiary sector. Here children, employment in modern service sector is highly skilled and high range earning one, especially after IT revolution children. What is IT revolution? Information technology revolution. This has been started in our country from 1984 onwards. So IT revolution is a use of software services and supportive infrastructure, hardware to manage and deliver information using voice, data and videos children. So children, IT jobs. Generally people used to talk about the IT jobs. So here which type of jobs are found in IT? That is software developers, information technology consultant, computer forensic analyst and information technology business analyst, computer network architect. So many IT jobs are there children. They all comes under service sector. So here average per capita earning of service sector employees is very high when compared to employees of other sector. Here children, investment in services is significant in raising employment children. See children, in the table you can see the share of service sector in employment. In 1950-51, it is only 17.3%, and slowly it has increased to 26.5% in 2010 and 31.45% in 2018 children. So children, here we will be discussing about the exports children. Exports, most of the period, India has a favorable balance in its services account of balance of payments children. So before this, what is an export? An export in international trade is a good or service produced in one country that is sold into another country. So the seller of the goods and services is an exporter. And what is an import? Import is a good or service bought in one country that was produced in another, and the buyer is an importer. So here after IT revolution children, software exports become the main component of our India's exports children. After IT revolution, software exports become the main component of India's exports of services. And children, just now I told India has several balance in balance of payment. So what is this balance of payment? Balance of payment, it is a statement that records all the monetary transactions made between the residents of a country and the rest of the world during any given period children. And here this balance of payment reveals its financial and economic status children. So the value of total service exports is increased from 195.1 billion US dollars in 2017-18 to 205.8 billion dollars in 2018 and 19, children. Then children, you look at the exports. Here in the pie graph, you can see that software exports 47%, travel and transport 27%, business services 22%, financial services 2%, communication 1%, and insurance 1%, children. Then children, FDI, that is a foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment in service sector. FDI is significant for developing economies and emerging markets where companies need funding and expertise to expand their international sales, children. The private investment in infrastructure, energy, and water is a critical driver of the economy as it helps in increasing jobs and wages, children. Children, let us try to understand what are the benefits from this FDI, from foreign direct investment. So the first and the foremost thing is it creates more job opportunities. It brings technological know-how and managerial expertise and helps in improving infrastructure and facilitates economic growth. Today, India has become one of the most attractive destinations for foreign direct investment. It is due to the liberalized norms, easy policies, and subsidized rates, children. So here, foreign investors are willing to invest in the country due to lower labor cost. You know that our country is labor intensive. Due to lower labor cost, market diversification, subsidies, and preferential tariffs. These things have attracted foreign investors to invest in our country, children. See, children, our gross FDI equity inflows into service sector in 2018-19 was 28,264 million US dollars, and the share of FDI has been increased from 63.7% to 64.6%. An increase in net FDI improves the balance of payments position, children. Then children, total FDI from April 2000 to September 2019 are 4.46 lakh millions. That is 25.61 lakh crore, and nearly 50% of which belongs to service sector, children. So in the graph, you can see, this is the bar graph, you can see how this FDI inflows have increased, children, from 1970 to 2018. Then children, growth of service sector. Growth of increase in production of goods and services during a particular period is considered as a growth. The services sector continues to outperform agriculture and industry sectors, contributing around 58% to the total GVA. Then children, growth of tertiary sector in India in constant prices, that is 2011-12 prices. See children, as per the table, it is evident that the annual growth of service sector is around 7%, children. And growth of service sector in 2017-18 is 7.5%. And in 2018-19, the growth has fallen. The growth has come down to 6.9%. Whereas once again, it has been increased to 7.5% in 2019 and 20, children. So within the other services, the growth rate of public administration, defense, and other services is decreased from 11.9% to 9.1%. So children, maybe due to the pandemic situation, it has come down, but in the future, this may boomed up. And now children, let us look into the services sector performance at the state level as well as a union territory level, children. Here GSVA, children. GSVA is a gross state value added. You all know that GVA is a measure of total output and income in the economy. It provides the rupee value for the amount of goods and services produced in an economy after deducting the cost of inputs and raw materials that have gone into the production of those goods and services. So when we measure it for state, it will be GSVA, children. That is gross state value added. Here, children, you can see the Chandigarh is in the top position, children, with 86.7%. And the growth rate, year over year, the growth rate is 7.3%. Whereas if you look into Karnataka, 65.4%. And the growth rate is 10.5%. So when we talk about our Telangana, it is 64.7% and 11.2%. And then children, this is the data of all the states and union territories, children. Here also you can see Assam 47.8% and the growth rate is 6.9%, and Nagaland 54.1% and 4.9%. Mizoram it is 46.8% and 7.8%, children. And the remaining states, we have Arunachal Pradesh with 42.5% and the growth rate is 9%, and Tripura it is 39.7% and growth rate is only 3%, children. And Sikkim also 26.8%. And here, children, in the previous table, we have seen that Chandigarh is in the first position. The growth rate in the Chandigarh is high. The share of Chandigarh in the GSVE is about 80%. So why? It is due to the rapidly increasing activities of service sector. The administration of Chandigarh is emphasizing on the knowledge sectors, especially in the fields of financial services, IT services, insurance services, hospitality, health and educational services, children. So that is the reason Chandigarh is in the first place. Then children, service sector performance at the state and union territory level in 2018-19, the share of services sector in a GSVA, that is gross state value added, is highest in union territory Chandigarh, followed by Delhi. And in the case of states, children, we can see highest share of services sector in GSVA in Karnataka, followed by Manipur, Telangana and Kerala, children. So children, here, why it is high in Karnataka? The service sector has been at the forefront in Karnataka's industrialization, supported by sector-specific policies for aerospace, infrastructure, information technology and other startups. Here, state is a leader in the medical education and with the numerous institutions of repute. It is well known for medical value tourism. It is the home to leading educational institutions, children. And children, do you know that more than 26% of international students coming to India prefer to study in Karnataka, children? And when we talk about, in contrast to the share of services in GSVA in 2018-19, it's lowest in Sikkim, followed by Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, children. So here, let us look into this graph, children. The line graph, you can see the Karnataka with 65.4%, Manipur 65.1%, Telangana 64.7%, and Kerala it is 62.7%. And the lowest shares, when we talk about the lowest share, Sikkim it is 26.8, Gujarat 35.7%, Madhya Pradesh 35.9%, and 37.1% in Chhattisgarh. Sikkim it is very less, children. So here, why it is less? Because of its topography, because of the low dependence of the people, because the most of the people, because of the unavailability of the job opportunities, most of the people, they are traveling to the other places, they are migrating to other places, children. Then with respect to the growth rate of service sector, the average annual growth of service sector from 2014-15 to 2018-19 is highest in newly formed state of Telangana with 11.2%, followed by Karnataka 10.5%, and Andhra Pradesh is 9.8%, children. So why Telangana here? Because the growth in services is largely fueled by IT services in our state, children. In Telangana, the growth in services is largely fueled by IT services, providing irrigation and other infrastructure. And children, the lowest annual average growth is recorded in Tripura at 3%, followed by Sikkim 4.4% and Nagaland 4.9%. Why Tripura? Due to hilly ranges, due to undulating plateau lands. So development of service sector is very low there. So that is the reason Tripura has recorded a low annual average growth rate. And here, children, then performance of India's key subsectors of services. Here, the first one is business process management. So BPM, this is a software helps in managing the diversity of business processes existing in the enterprise. So children, business process management, it is a discipline in which people use various methods to discover, model, analyze, measure, improve, optimize, and automate business processes. So children, with the help of the BPM systems, it becomes possible to create virtual graphical schemes, analyze the current situation, improve and optimize all the activities of the company. So here, any combination of methods used to manage a company's business processes is a BPM, children. So this is one of the key subsector of services. See children, business process management life cycle, children. See in this life cycle, you can see the design, the model, execute, monitor, optimize. So here design involves identifying the business processes which you wish to automate and write down the current steps, actions, and people and decisions they need to occur at a derived result, children. Then we'll go to the model. This is used to map out the current process and design the future state complete with improvements. And to execute, we need to develop business process management softwares, or we can manually execute the methodology. In the monitor, in this stage, in this life cycle, processes are performed and data is collected to evaluate how your critical tasks are running over time. And optimize. In this phase, we make improvements to the form, workflow, or any bottlenecks are there based on insights from the monitoring phase to make the process more efficient, children. So here, children, one more subsector is aviation. Here, the services performed by an airline as flights between various destinations to transport passengers, freight, and mail, children. So this aviation provides the only worldwide transportation network, which makes it essentials for global business and tourism. It guarantees economic growth, creates jobs, and facilitates international trade and tourism, children. This aviation sector, it handles the passengers, handle the cargo, loading, unloading, crew, support services, and flight operations all fall under our tertiary sector, children. Then children, telecom sector. Telecom sector, it is the telecommunication industries within the sector of information and communication technology is made up of all telecommunications, telephone companies and internet service providers. Children, this sector in India has not led to rapid growth, but also helped, not only led to the rapid growth, but also helped a great deal towards the modernization of consumer benefits. Here, internet, which is another growing mode of communication, is a worldwide system of computer networks. And broadband, children, is often called high-speed internet broadband subscribers also increasing. So this also falls under our tertiary sector. Then children, we have tourism. Tourism means people traveling for activities such as sightseeing and camping, pleasure or business. Tourism is the second largest foreign exchange earner in India. It employs a large number of people, both skilled and unskilled. It is the largest service industry. It is highly labor intensive, and this tourism sector promotes national integration and international brotherhood. And children, here you can see the images. You can see the Char Dham there. You can see our Charminar in Hyderabad, the Mysore Palace and Hawa Mahal, children. Then children, shipping. Shipping plays an important role in the economic development of the country, especially this one in India's international trade, children. So here port traffic means the amount of imports and exports, children. So here Indian shipping industry also plays an important role in the energy security of the country, children. Energy security of the country. As energy resources such as coal, crude oil and natural gas are mainly transported by ship, children. Here, further Indian shipping contributes to an uninterrupted supply of even essentials also. So being the gateways of international trade, ports play a vital role in the overall economic development of the country. Then you can see the contribution of these sectors to our economy. Here ITBPM services, service revenues have increased from 118.6 billion US dollars to 161.8 billion US dollars. Even its exports are also increased from 97.7 billion US dollars to 135.5 billion dollars. Even aviation passengers, our airline passengers, our domestic, international passengers are also increased. And telecom industry, service sector also increased, whereas the wireless phones has increased from 969.9 million subscriptions to 1,154.6 million subscriptions. So here, children, the tourism, foreign tourism arrivals and foreign exchange earnings also increased from 19.7 billion US dollars to 24 billion US dollars. Even our port traffic also increased. That is, our exports and imports are also increased, children. Then we have tourism sector. Tourism, Indian government defines tourism as a foreign passport holder visiting and staying in India for more than a day, but not more than a year. It may be for leisure, entertainment, business, medical purposes, religious, sports, conferences, seminars, etc. Children. Here, tourism is the second largest foreign exchange earner in India. Tourism is a set of socio-economic activities carried out for tourists. Tourism employs a large number of people, both skilled and unskilled. It promotes national integration and international brotherhood. It is highly labor intensive. It is the fastest growing industry, children. Here, children, India has a myriad landscapes, great heritage and culture, varied flora and fauna, and one of the oldest civilizations. India is one of the oldest civilizations and home to the finest architecture, children. So here India is a vast and great country with a huge potential for the development of tourism. India is full of historical places and monuments, great shrines and temples, places of pilgrimage, wildlife sanctuaries, hill stations, sea resorts, places of winter sports, world heritage sites, biogeographical zones also attract travelers from different places, and even the world tallest statue at Gujarat, that is of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, children. So this tourism sector, a major engine of growth, contributes to GVA, foreign exchange earnings and employment, children. So in India, the tourism sector witnessed a strong performance from 2015 to 2017 with a high growth in foreign tourist arrivals, children. And India has earned a total of 24 billion US dollars. Okay, and the growth rate is 2%, children. Then here, tourism, we have two types, children. Here, domestic tourism and international tourism. So here, domestic tourists are the residents of the country who travel within the geographical boundaries of their country, whereas international tourists are the foreign passport holders visiting another country. So here, domestic tourism, within the boundaries of their country, they move, whereas the international tourists are the foreign passport holders visiting another country, children. And here, children, in domestic tourism, people use their vacations even when you get holidays. You people visit the religious places, pilgrimage centers, historical places, isn't it, children? You can see Tirupati there, Golden Temple, Golconda Fort, you can see Amarnath Cave, you can see, and Vaishno Mata Temple also you can see, children. So mostly under domestic tourism, people usually visit these places. And then, children, when we talk about domestic tourism for the modern generation spend their vacations visiting wildlife sanctuaries, beaches, and hill stations, children. You can see the images of various wildlife sanctuaries here. You can see Kanyakumari there. You can see the hill station also. You can see hill stations in Kashmir. You can see the beaches also. So, children, here, places that attracts international tourists in India. Most of the people who comes from foreign countries, they usually visit these places. That is Agra, Delhi, Rajasthan, Telangana, and Kashmir, children, important tourist destinations in India. When we talk about Agra, is a major tourist destination because of its many Mughal era buildings, most notably the Taj Mahal, Agra Fort, and Fatehpur Sikri. Agra is a city on the banks of Yamuna River in Uttar Pradesh. Then comes to Delhi, children, the national capital territory, brought tourists from other countries, dazzling them with historic landmarks and colonial architecture, children. And we talk about Rajasthan. Rajasthan will tell you stories about wars, victories, romances, and men of valor, children. Rajasthan is a land of kings, has a rich history. You can see palaces and monuments and staggering forts. Children, if we talk about Telangana, tourist attracts in Telangana include historical places. We have monuments, we have waterfalls, forests, and temples, children. And talk about Kashmir is famous for its scenic beauty. Flower gardens, apple farms. It attracts tourists for its unique handicrafts and the world famous Kashmir shawls, children. And here, children, places that attracts international tourists in India. So Goa, Goa beaches and architecture drew more than 500,000 tourists every year, children. And Kerala is one of the prettiest state. Okay, rightfully dubbed as God's own country. And Tamil Nadu topped in all other Indian states. We have great living Chola temples. They are recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Center. And when we talk about Odisha, an eastern Indian state on Bay of Bengal, is known for its tribal culture and its many ancient Hindu temples, Konark, Sun Temple, Puri Jagannath Temple in Puri, and Maharashtra, famous caves and religious places and adventure tourism destinations are also found there. So children, next we will be discussing about the differences between domestic tourism and international tourism. So when it comes to destination part, domestic tourists, they tour within the country, whereas international tourists cross international boundaries of different countries. And nationality, traveled by national citizens, and whereas international tourism traveled by foreign citizens. Documents, they do not require legal documents, whereas international tourists, they require passport, visa, etc. Then income. This domestic tourism promotes local business, whereas international tourism generates a huge foreign income to the country. And here, marketing and promotional activities are less expensive in domestic tourism, whereas it is costly in the international tourism. And the benefit is it supports national unity and creates harmony, whereas it supports to maintain international friendship. Here, international tourist arrivals and tourism receipts in India and the world, children. Here, children, foreign tourist arrivals in India, they were only 7.68 millions in 2014, and it has increased to 10.56 millions. And in India's rank in Asia Pacific tourism is in 7th place, children. Whereas India's rank in world tourism receipts, that is the revenue, is in from 15th place, it has come to the 13th place. Whereas India's rank in Asia Pacific ITA is India's share in world's ITA is 7th place, children. Then, children, state level share of tourism in gross value added and employment. See, children, here states attracting domestic tourists. So within the country, most 65% of the tourists, they visit Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Maharashtra. And states attracting foreign tourists. Most of the foreign tourists, nearly 67% of the foreign tourists, they visit Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, and Rajasthan. Then here, children, this is a table which shows the TGVA and tourism employment in state employment. Here it has given the Andaman and Nicobar, that is 4.63%, to it has increased to 11.06%, whereas Gujarat, that is 1.78% to 15.39%. Then children, here state union territory is also given here. The percentage of value added, state gross value added, and tourism employment share is given, children. Statewide data has been given here. When we look into Kerala, it is 4.34 in 2015-16, 4.34%, and it has increased to 11.20%. And when we talk about Lakshadweep, it is 4.30% and increased to 21.95%, children. Then, children, government initiatives, children. Here, to facilitate international tourism, to promote this international tourism, India introduced the e-tourist visa regime in September 2014 for 46 countries. Prior to the launch of the scheme, the e-visa facility was available for only 12 countries. And the government further liberalized the visa regime in 2016, renaming it to e-visa scheme with 5 subcategories, children. So here let us look into what are those categories. The first one is e-tourist visa, we have e-business visa, we have e-medical visa, we have e-conference visa, and e-medical attendant visa. So here, what is this e-tourist visa? It is an electronic authorization to travel in India for business, tourism, or medical visits. When applying for an e-visa, it is not necessary to submit your passport or other personal documents to the consulate, children. Then children, we have a e-business visa. Is a non-convertible and non-extendable. Individuals can apply for a maximum 2 e-visas during a calendar year. E-medical is an online travel authorization for foreign nationals who wish to see medical treatment in the country. A medical Indian visa allows the holder to enter 3 times, children. E-conference given for workshops held in India to discuss on a particular subject for international seminars, children. And e-medical attendant can be granted up to 2 attendants. The visa is valid for 60 days and it is not extendable, children. With this e-visa scheme, foreign tourist arrivals to India have increased from 4.4 lakhs to 23.69 lakhs, children. So here 21% year-on-year growth from the previous year, children. So here the e-visa scheme is available for 169 countries with a valid entry through 28 designated airports and 5 designated seaports, children. Then children, information technology and BPM services. So BPM is a discipline involving any combination. It may be the modeling, automation, execution, control, measurement, optimization, enterprise goals, spanning systems, employees, customers, and partners. So children, here, any combination of these methods used to manage a company business process and is a BPM. So here each department in a company is responsible for taking some raw material and data and transforming it into something else. So BPMs are the best places to work when employees continuously invest in employee training and leadership development, provide attractive compensation, performance incentives, rewards, etc. children. So here high-tech BPM services, they are providing data processing, that is carrying out operations on data, especially by a computer to retrieve, transform, or classify information, children. Then graphic designing. This is an art with a purpose. It involves a creative and systematic plan to solve a problem or achieve certain objectives with the use of images, symbols, or even words, children. Then scanning and indexing. This captures information from paper documents and converts it into digital formats. And transcription services. It is a business service that converts speech, either live or recorded, into a written or electronic text documents. And web research. This refers to any research method that uses the internet to collect data. Then children, virtual assistant. This means accessing anything from anywhere. For example, virtual assistant operates from home. Anywhere you can operate. The live example is our webinar class, children. So children, here, as per Economic Survey of India 2019, the exports from this sector is reached to about 177 million US dollars, children. And the sector contributes significantly to the economy via employment growth and value addition. And children, out of IT services, digital revenues grew more than 30% to reach 33 billion US dollars. And children, IT BPM subsectors. We have IT services, we have software products, we have BPM, we have engineering services. See children here, IT services, a range of types that include consulting, systems integration, IT outsourcing, managed services, hosting services, training and support services children. Then under software products, this IT industry segment providing services in the area of software products through all or any of the product life cycles is referred to as software products children. Just now we have discussed various life cycles of this IT BPM. And BPM, it deals with the management of more than one or more business process by an external organization that in turn owns and manages the selected processes based on defined and measurable performance metrics. Then engineering services children. These services manages processes which are associated with the creation of a product or service and which are associated with maximizing the lifespan and optimizing the yield associated with a product or a asset children. So children, as per National Association of Software and Service Companies in 2018-19, IT BPM services, here IT services is 51.2%, software products and engineering services is 20.6%, BPM 19.7%, and the hardware is 8.5% children. Then children, exports of IT BPM. A significant part of IT BPM industry continues to be export driven, with export revenues in excess of 135 billion US dollars in 2018 and 19 children. And the revenue growth of IT sector is softened to 6.8% from 8.2%. And here children, out of total 135.5 billion US dollars in exports, our IT BPM sector accounted for 55% of its exports children. And BPM and software products and engineering services accounted for the remaining 45%, with each accounting for almost half of the share. Then children, export revenues by destination. By destination, export revenues we are getting from USA is 62%, UK 17%, Europe excluding UK is 11.4%, and Asia Pacific is 7.6% children. Then children, government initiatives. A number of policy initiatives have been undertaken to drive innovation and technology adoption in the IT BPM sector, including Startup India and National Software Product Policy children. So Startup India is an initiative of the Government of India. The campaign was first introduced by Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, during his speech on 15th August 2015. So what is Startup India? Startup India is a young company founded by one or more entrepreneurs to develop a unique product or service and bring it to the market. So benefits is self-certification. Self-certify and comply under 3 environmental and 6 labor laws children. And income tax exemption for a period of 3 consecutive years also given for this Startup India children. And this National Software Product Policy. The Union Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has approved National Software Product Policy in 2019 to develop India as a software product nation children. So to achieve the vision of NPSP, that is a National Policy on Software Product 2019, the policy has 5 missions. So what are those 5 missions? First one is innovation and intellectual property creating, generating direct and indirect employment, to create talent pool, to set up with government participation and innovation in ICT infrastructure children. Then children, here children, after going through the session, you people have to do an activity with your creative ideas. Prepare a note about your village or town or city for developing into a tourist place by highlighting temples and green fields children. This is the activity which you have to do it and present it in your assembly children. Then in the evolution, In evaluation, these are the important questions from the examination point of view, children. What is tertiary sector? Explain the importance of tertiary sector in Indian economy. This is for 10 marks, and write about tourism sector services in India. This is also for 10 marks, and write about service sector contribution to GSVA and to employment in India for 5 marks, and define tertiary sector for 2 marks, children. So children, this is the end of our session. I hope you all have understood. Children, go through the topic and try to understand the concepts. Thank you all. Thank you everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Children, I believe you all have got a clear idea. Wasn't it an interesting session? Yes, about the importance of tertiary sector in India, as what is the role of tertiary sector in improving the per capita income of India. I hope you all have understood in a very clear aspects all the important concepts, what is the role, what are the different types of tertiary sector. You all must have jotted down the key concepts of this lesson and refer the textbook also. Thank you very much, Joshna ma'am. Really, it was a very good and excellent session with each and every detail about the key concepts of tertiary sector. Thank you once again. Thank you all, and meet you all in the next session. Children, take care. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.